guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hello, welcome. Right, I'm so happy right now because even myself, I didn't realise how well this video was going to come out. So today's video, I have used different products on either side of my face, high end and dupes, and I literally cannot tell the difference. Like, I cannot even see the slightest bit of difference. Like, I'm so impressed with how well this come out. I was saying this in the video, like, obviously you know that they're dupes of things and that they're very similar, but actually putting them next to each other and then realizing that there is no difference whatsoever, I'm shocked. Okay, so shocked. So that is what we are doing in today's video. So if you wanna find some dupes and basically save some money on these products, then this is the video for you. If you like the sound of that, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification button, that bell, and yeah, if you want to see my dupes to my high ends, then please keep on watching. I feel like I've not sat down in ages and actually just filmed makeup, but today we are, as you've seen from intro, doing a full face of makeup, just like a normal glam sort of makeup, but I'm doing half high end and half dupes of these high end products, just so you can see the difference, because let me tell you, I bet there's going to be a very little difference, because these dupes that I have, they're just amazing. So I've done my brows and I've done my skincare, just because I feel like skincare is something that just, like, once you know, you know. Like, once you've got it, you don't really want to change it. But please do, like, let me know if you want me to do like a video on like dupes of skincare, because I definitely can do that as well. So first off, we're starting with our eyes, of course. So as you are probably aware, I always go with the P. Louise base for eye primer. So this I'm going to put on like my high end side, just because it's not high end, but I always say this product is not necessarily needed, as in, like, you can use a concealer as well as an eye base, which then obviously on the other side I'm gonna use a concealer, just so you can sort of see the difference. Same as always, I'm just gonna carve out the underneath of my brow, and then I'm just patting this on. And then I'm just going to buff this out, because obviously that is the only difference of having the P. Louise base, is that it sets itself. You just need to like work it into the skin and just pat it all down. And then on the other side, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible concealer. I do really like this concealer. One thing I would say is, if that you are using a concealer as your eye base, just make sure that, like, it's quite a thick consistency. I mean, it's going to be a lot lighter on this eye because the shades don't match, but we're going to make this work. Once it's all buffed out and there is colour on it, it will look okay. So I'm just buffing this out as well. But can you see it sort of still does the same thing, where it gives you that blank canvas. All the rest I think I've got the right shades for. But yeah, as I said, obviously with the concealer you do need to set it, whereas the P. Louise base you don't. I'm just going to quickly go in with my Rimmel Stay Matte. Set this down, which will add a bit of colour to it as well, so it's not so bright, like so. I do prefer the shade of this, just because I don't actually go for as much of a bright eye anymore. So this is in shade 4, the P. Louise base, so it matches my foundation normally really well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a bit of a brighter eye base, but I feel like that has sort of died down a bit. It was really in, and now I think it's like died down a little bit. Right, so then onto eye palette. For my dupe, I am going to use this e.l.f. one. I haven't used this colourway, but obviously I know that the formulas and everything are really good. So I know that this is literally going to be a dupe for this, because one, the shades are very similar. So £3, £30. Let's see. Right, I'm going to go in with the high end first. I mean, I love both of the formulas in these palettes, so it's going to be interesting to see. So this is the Zoeva Caramel Melange palette. I'm going to go in with Start Soft, and I'm just obviously patting this base down, and then I'm going to work this through the crease. Now, I had done a video using this palette and I said like how much I loved it, how little fallout there was. I still use it all the time. So I know that this is gonna be lovely and work really well. So I'm just buffing this in the crease. It's like a beautiful orangey brown shade. And I swear every time I use these, I'm literally like, I know why I love you. But obviously £30 for quite a small palette is a lot, so a dupe is very handy. Softly buffing this all out. I'm then going to clean my brush and go in with the dupe, just so obviously you know I'm not having any of the old colour on there, but I do want to keep the same brush. Right, so then in my £3 elf palette, I'm gonna go in with this one on the end. I loved this as well when I last used it. Well, I used the mint version. So the only thing I would say is that you might need to work a little bit more with the dupes, just because they are obviously a little bit cheaper. They might just need a little bit of more working, but as you can see, it's literally still buffing out so nicely. I literally still just love these elf palettes, like they are so good. You do also have to factor in the fact that we haven't used the P. Louise base. Obviously, with the P. Louise base, it adds like colour to, not colour, it brings out the colour payoff in the pigments. Obviously with a concealer, that doesn't. So it might just be that you obviously have to work with them a little bit more and add a little bit more pigment to these shades. But I mean, this is literally buffing out so well. Like, I mean, slight difference in orange. I think this one is a bit more of a darker orange, like a darker brown orange, and that's more bright. But I mean, in terms of like formula and like how the shadows work, can you tell the difference between a £30 and a £3? Like £3 for this, you just cannot moan. Like, you literally cannot if you're paying £3. I'm impressed. Literally hardly no difference. Like I say, obviously there's only a slight colour difference, but I'm very impressed. I am going to add another shadow, but I want to put on the glitter first. So I'm gonna go in with liquid centre. So just on a rounded brush, I'm gonna take liquid centre and I'm just gonna place that down. Wow, these are so good. And then I'm gonna do the trick that I always do. I'm gonna flip it over, and then in the elf one, I'm gonna go in with this pigment, which in the pan, it literally looks identical to this one. Oh. It's exactly the same. I mean, can you even see a difference? If anything, that's more pigmented. Like, that's more sparkly. Wow, elf pulled it out the bag. And then I'm gonna take, so back in the Zoeva, I'm gonna take Finish Sensual, which is just this brown, just to deepen it up the tiniest little bit, just like in the outer corner. I mean, give it a little bit more depth. And then in the elf, going in with that brown, I'm just gonna flip the brush over and just deepen this up. I mean, can you even see a difference? Even like I said with the base, like you can't even notice difference now. High-end elf. This already has cost me about £40. This has probably cost me about 10. Just saying. I'm then just going to do a bit of pencil liner. So on my high end, I'm going to take Inglot, which I don't really know where Inglot stands, to be fair. I think it's like an in-betweener, but I do think it is more expensive than obviously some other brands. It's not the most expensive, if that makes sense. Really creamy though. This is my favourite pencil liner. Can't lie to you. But then on the other side, I'm going to take a Primark eyeliner actually, which literally does the same job. I mean, this one does like tug a little bit more. It's not as creamy. But in terms of how these eyes look, what is the difference? Please someone tell me. That Primark pencil liner, I think I got in a pack of probably about 3 and it was like £1. So you really just can't go wrong. I do need to try out more Primark makeup because I have heard good things. Right, that's the eye done. I'm going to go off camera because this is been very long. I'm gonna go off camera, put my eyelashes on and stuff, and then I'll be back to do the base. Okay, so lashes are on. I've actually just been using Maura Higgins False Flutters lashes at the moment in Party Animal, and I'm obsessed with them. They're so good. On to our base. Okay, so I've always said this. This is obviously my favourite. This Dream Urban cover, the biggest dupe for it ever. So obviously NARS is my favourite. I use the shade Barcelona, and I do really love this. I've got to remember I'm only doing half of my face. And like, I love this. This is my favourite for myself, for clients. Like, it's honestly the nicest foundation. It gives the best finish ever. But even still, who don't love a dupe? Do you know what I mean? So I'm just doing half of my face with this. So as you can see, like, literally covered. It's nice, like, I'd say it is full coverage. Obviously I wouldn't want any fuller than this. Like, I literally feel covered. Look at the difference. But obviously there are some that are even more full coverage. I'm just gonna bring it down a little bit, but it's just like a perfect satin finish. It's not too dewy, not too matte, but yeah, it just has the nicest finish. It looks great on clients, it looks great in pictures, the lot. But on the other side, Dream Urban cover now. This, so Barcelona in the NARS, 220 natural beige I use in the Dream Urban cover. It's a, okay, it's a little bit lighter, but we're gonna make it work. But you will see once like the finish is exactly the same. Apart from this not being as like yellowy, this side, you literally cannot tell a difference. Like, it's got the same, like, it's quite full coverage. Well, it's full coverage, same sort of satin finish, not too dewy, not too matte. Like, can you notice a difference? No. That is the best dupe. You can't even see a difference. Like, it's mad. Like, even the colour match is still now like sort of blending together. And obviously this is like £10, this foundation. The other one's 35. Although it's worth every bit of money because it is my favourite and I love it. Obviously if you're starting out doing makeup or you don't want to spend like a fortune on it, but you still want like a really good foundation, the Dream Urban cover, I mean, I'm nearly out of it. I've got the tiniest bit because I use it just as much. Sometimes, like, if I want like an everyday makeup but I want the same finish as the NARS, but like, I don't know, maybe some days you don't want to feel like you're wasting product, or because you're just like popping out, you want to save it for like when you're going out, do you know what I mean? Like, the Dream Urban cover is like a brilliant backup. And then on both sides I'm just gonna go over with my beauty blender, just because that's what I always do, just to really push into the skin. Sorry, it just makes me so happy that there are dupes out there this good, because it's honestly crazy. Like, I literally can't notice a difference one bit. Then for concealer, on this side, of course, I'm going in with my Tarte Shape Tape, which again is an absolute blinder of a product. Like, once you start using this, you rarely go back to using anything else. I've only just started to like use obviously like the Born This Way and the NARS. I at one point only ever used the Tarte Shape Tape. I mean, if I could get it easily and things like that, like I would. Like, I don't think I would ever get any other concealer. Like, it's that good. Like, it's honestly the best. But obviously it's a little bit more tricky to get the hands on, so it's good to like have a backup. I'm just gonna put half here, one here, and then on the other side I'm gonna use my L'Oreal Infallible, which again is the big dupe. The only thing is I'm gonna mix oatmeal with a bit of chestnut. I mean, obviously it's so dark chestnut, but just like the tiniest bit, because otherwise we're gonna have too bright of an under eye. We're gonna make a little concoction on the back of our hand. Like, this concealer as well, the Infallible, is the biggest dupe for the Tarte. It's got the same like thickness, so yeah, that's why I love the Tarte so much, because it's just like such a thick consistency. It obviously gives you that like flawless under eye, but the L'Oreal Infallible also has like, it even looks similar. I mean, the colours aren't the exact same, but we're making it work, you know. But like, even look how identical they are, even in style. When you look at the dofa, so like, look how similar, like, really thick dofas. Like, Infallible was the first sort of, quite a few do come out of them now, but it was like the first one to sort of bring out the thick dofa like the Tarte. It's just, yeah, it's very, very similar consistency. It like buffs out so nicely. You literally can't tell the difference between them. If you like full coverage like me, then these concealers are like the best for having a full coverage. So I'm just buffing this out. Really easy to blend. And I find like with both of these, like, you do only need to go in with one concealer. Like, sometimes I go in with two, either for like extra coverage or for extra brightening, but with these you definitely don't. Like, look how easy both of them are to blend out. It's just so good. The only slight difference I would say is that maybe the Infallible dries down a little bit quicker, but apart from that, they literally are identical. Okay, so my next dupe, which I've definitely said about, the Bobbi Brown foundation stick in Warm Walnut, so the colour of the identical, and then the Barry M All Night Long in Hazelnut. This, I think, out of everything is like the best dupe. Honestly, as soon as I got that Barry M All Night, I was like, that is my Bobbi Brown in a stick for a fraction of the price. It's like my perfect contour shade. They both just buff out so nicely. You don't need a lot of them. So obviously this is the Bobbi Brown one that I'm going in with. Beautiful. Oh. And then wait until you see the other side. Just wait for it, okay? And to be fair, I go in with this more, the All Night Long Barry M foundation stick. Like, I reach for this all the time. It's my favourite. If anything, it's even more pigmented than the Bobbi Brown. Sorry. That's actually madness. Which is which? Please tell me. Actually crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I'm actually gonna do some nose contour. Bobbi Brown on one side. The All Night Long. Like, that's how you can see how similar they are. Then for cream blush, for high end, I'm gonna go in with my Stila. Tapping that on the cheek. The most beautiful cream blush you ever did see, and a bit on my forehead. And then the dupe for this, I'm going to go in with the Dr. Pawpaw, which you can literally get these from TK Maxx. So cheap. The only difference, I would say, maybe the Dr. Pawpaw's a little bit more of a sheer blush, but very, very little difference. And like, they're both just so nice applied with my finger. Just really, really beautiful blushes. Very, very good. Right, next up we have our powders. For our high end, we are going to go in with a classic, a holy grail. Of course, we're going in with the Laura Mercier. So I'm just going to make sure there's no creasing under my eye. And then with my sponge, I'm just going to take this powder and bake. I haven't used this powder in a while, to be fair, because if you have watched my April favourites, you'd know that the Jordana Tisha one is literally like my favourite at the moment, but I didn't really know where that fell. So I thought, I'm playing it safe by going Laura Mercier, because I know obviously it's Holy Grail. And then the dupe of that, which another powder that I'm loving, is the Lottie London one. This was like the first drugstore powder that I thought, actually, you're not too bad. So exact same, just buffing out. It's a little bit more white in like colour, but they're both translucent, so when they are wiped away, just both so flawless though. Like, even just as powders on their own, not compared to each other, I've just put that all together. They are literally the most beautiful powders ever. Like, that Lottie London one, I can't get over it. It is so good, so cheap, so cheap. Obviously the Laura Mercier is about £30, which obviously is a standard sort of good powder price, but if we want cheap and cheerful, Lottie London amazing. Right, for our bronzers, so I'm gonna go with my MAC Give Me Sun high end, which, you know, is just like a classic. I think everyone and their dog, whatever you say, every man and their dog has this bronzer. Like, if you're not a makeup artist, like, that is just a bronzer that you have in your makeup bag. It's just the best bronzer ever. Such a staple in your makeup kit. It's like the most beautiful, like, orangey bronzer. So it's not cool toned, it's more like got an orange warmth to it. Now, the dupe that I have for this, obviously, again, it's Dull Beauty, so I don't know where it lies price wise. One of these, it's obviously cheaper than MAC, but I feel like it's got to be the dupe because it's literally called Dull Beauty Gimme. So this is Give Me and this is Gimme Sun. So they're obviously a dupe for each other, do you know what I mean? But yeah, these are like £15, these are like 20 something, so it is definitely still cheaper, but like I can't do Give Me Sun and not compare it to Gimme Sun. Both beautiful bronzers though, like they are both so lovely. And like Dull Beauty, again, it's not expensive. They always have discount, like crazy sales, but like it's the same bronzer. Like, it's literally identical, and like you can just tell like how easy that was to just both like buff out. Like, doesn't go patchy. Obviously you want to pat so it doesn't, but they're both just really, really beautiful bronzers. This side with that one and this side with that one. Yeah, literally identical, them bronzers, but both amazing. We're just gonna do our, so with one side, and then with the Lottie London we will do the other side. I must say though, the Lottie London one is much more like finely milled. It's very fine, which is a good thing. But yeah, right, that is the base. For my brows, so I've gone in with my Bon Bon brows already. I feel like I don't even need to do anything to them today. Because they've been tinted, I don't know, I'm liking the craziness of them. If you've watched my April favourites, you know that I'm loving this Bon Bon. Bon Bon. I feel like when I said it, it was coming across as bomb, but it's not, it's Bon Bon brows. Yeah, you know I'm loving that in a minute. I'm just going to leave my brows. I like them like this, so I'm just going to wipe this powder away. I'm actually shocked myself. Like, I knew doing this video that like I've got good dupes, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I knew that it would be close, but even now, like, putting them this close together, I'm like, they're literally identical. I've got no additional product on this. I just like to buff it out a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, they are so similar. With my MAC Give Me Sun, I'm going to go down one side of my nose. And then with my Dull Beauty Gimme Sun, I'm going to go down the other part of my nose. Crazy stuff. But we love it. We love a dupe. Right, for blush. On high end, we are going in with the NARS Taj Mahal blush. Again, you know I'm loving this blush at the minute. It's like the nicest orange blush. I mean, I've just gone a bit crazy on it, but you know, it's just beautiful. It's got a bit of a sparkle to it, so you just get that added glow. But my dupe for that, honeys, is my Revolution Pro 4K blush palette in Peach. Now, I can't remember how much this was, but it was probably about £6 for 4. This is like 20 something for 1. So this is a dupe, but we're gonna mix the two. The only thing I think is different is that this has obviously got more of a shine to it, but colour wise it's literally exactly the same. But I'm sorry, but it's actually crazy. I can't wait till I get my pictures, because I'm gonna, like, obviously next to each other, see that they're the same. I'm gonna spray my face like I always do. Just love when it comes together. So for highlight, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Glow Kit. So obviously my favourite is Dull Beauty, but I have quite a good dupe for this. So, I mean, I don't go in with this as much, but it's still really nice. I'm going to mix the bottom two. Hello. Sorry. Just one side of my chin. And then for my dupe, which is a really nice one, that it's blinding, but it's the Barry M Baked Tree Blend Highlighter. They are identical. I'm just gonna put this one on my nose just because it's gonna be hard to split it half and half. Do you know what I mean? But like, they're the same. It's actually mad. Actually mental. So we're nearly there. We're just gonna finish off our eyes. Going back in with our Zoeva. I'm just gonna take that first shade and I'm just gonna run this along the bottom of my eyes. Like these eyes as well, like you literally can't even tell the difference. And then the same, but with the e.l.f. I'm going in with that first shade that we used. Like quality makeup wise, what is the difference? I literally can't go for it. Like you would not think I've spent like hundreds on this side of my face, but like probably just under 100 than that. Like, do you know what I mean? Right, so liner, this is my Primark liner. I'm just gonna put this in my waterline. And then with my Inglot, I can't go over it. I'm actually in shock right now at this makeup. Shock. Right, then for lips, on high-end side, I'm going in with my MAC Strip Down, which I can't lie, I've been using more lately. That is that side. And then, of course, I'm comparing it to my Morphe Sweet Tea. Where's the difference? Please tell me. I mean, ignore the fact that I've actually done that really, really wonky. But the tiniest, tiniest difference. In shade as well. You know what I think of lip liners. I'll go for Morphe, the dupe, all day. But like, in terms of shade, literally the tiniest difference ever. And then I'm gonna go in with my MAC Honey Love. It's awkward doing it just on one side. And then on the other side, my Dull Beauty Come to Mama, which again, literally, like this is without it being blended. I know they look bad at the moment. I need to blend it with the lip liner, but in terms of shade, no difference whatsoever. It's right, bit of a faff actually doing half and half. But wow, I'm so impressed. There's literally no difference whatsoever. For gloss, okay, well, let's put these two to the test. So we've got Fenty in Fenty Glow. Well, I know that these are a dupe, but I mean like next to each other. Then we've got the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in Topaz, which again, if you have... I'm sorry, but this is not even normal. The biggest dupe ever are these two. Look, you can even see in that, even though this looks a little bit darker, like, look at them. Actually crazy. Like, I cannot believe my makeup right now. You would never know that I've done half my face with a complete different product list to this one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've literally used complete different products, but you would never know. How will they know? You'll never know. How will they know? You know what I mean? I am going to spray my face just with one, the Morphe, the only thing you need. Obviously, I do have the Glow Mist, but for like setting spray, you just, the Morphe is cheap, it's cheerful, it's the best. Okay, that is the finished look. I'm in shock, like I'm actually in shock. I cannot believe, like I always knew that they was dupes, do you know what I mean? Like I always knew they was dupes and they was very similar, but obviously you're comparing them when you just wear like that on its own, and so you think, oh yeah, they're like similar, but no, like I've put them next to each other and my makeup looks identical on both sides. Like they are so good, and I love this makeup as it is. Like this makeup on its own, I love it. I can't get over it. I'm actually in shock. I'm in shock because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is in terms of like literally matching. The only times it don't really match is if I've not got the exact same shade, which I mean is hard picking a shade as it is, let alone matching it to a complete different brand. But even that now, like looking at my makeup, like you can't even notice difference. You can't notice the eye being a bit brighter, tiny, like obviously that concealer was a lot brighter as a base, but like you can't even notice it really. I am literally gobsmacked. I'm so impressed. I am so impressed. Like, if you want makeup on a budget, I am going to be doing a lot more. Like, I've got a few ideas for makeup on a budget because makeup is expensive. Like, it is so expensive. And sometimes you don't want to be spending all that money on makeup. Do you know what I mean? But you want a flawless base. So, I have got a few ideas that I'm going to be doing for like makeup on a budget. Because, yeah, I'm not going to say it again, but I literally can't even tell the difference myself. I can't. Like, there's not even one thing where I'm like, that don't look good. Like, that don't look the same. So yeah, that is the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Although the high-end products I still recommend, I still think they are incredible. It just goes to show that you don't necessarily always need them. There are dupes for them. There are cheaper alternatives out there. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Comment down below any other ideas that you have that you want me to do, or just like any videos in general. And yeah, before you leave, please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and you liked it. And subscribe, hit that notification button. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys. Mwah.